Okay, here's a little video about some streamer techniques. Hopefully you're able to see that streamer out there. Now often people just cast to the side and then they just bring the streamer across. Remember, it's important that the streamer be always perpendicular to the flow of the river. Okay, if the streamer is heading this way, just straight down, all you'll see is just the individual part of the streamer, just the butt of the streamer, the fish will. So it's always important to have your streamer off to the side and then coming across, as you can see here, coming across as we ride it. Now, a couple techniques that are really good for moving streamers around is, let's say you have a streamer here in the middle, but you want to get it over to that edge and you want to do it in kind of a cool way. There's a technique called walking the streamer over, and it's done by mending your line, and I'm pulling out a little bit of line here so I get some more line, and using the curve as a fulcrum. I don't know if you can see, but the fly is actually getting farther and farther over, and I can bring it around to tuck it under some tree or something somewhere way down there that I wouldn't normally be able to bring it around. Then all you do is you bring it across this way. See how it's swimming across the river, and then once your arm is completely over like this, then you start mending in this direction to begin to bring it back across. Okay, it's fairly straightforward, and this way you can crisscross the river back and forth, and then I'll bring it back across this way, and you'll see that the fly is swimming back across, and then when you start to mend, it'll start mending back in this direction. Okay, and that's called walking the fly, walking the streamer. That's a very simple technique. You have to just practice your mending. It's almost like a cast, but you're leaving the fly in the water, and you see how it's all the way over to that side now. And then if I were to let it go, see, then it'll just slide back in under that tree over there. Okay, so that's a super important technique. Another technique is, if you're in a river, and actually I'm kind of backwards for you guys, often if you want to bring your line up in this direction, obviously I can cast this way, okay? But a simple way of casting back this way when you're downstream like this is to flip your line over like this and then cast this way if you needed to do it that way. Now, if I were in the opposite direction and I wanted to roll cast, and I'm going to put my back to you, and now my line is downstream here, and I'm stuck because I want to roll cast. Okay, well, if I tried to roll cast like this, it'd be all over the place. So what I do is I throw a circle and then bring this rod back, and then I can roll cast across. Okay, it's not the best. A piece of yarn is not the best thing to roll cast, but then we can run it that way. So then when it gets back to this side, again, I can't roll cast again. So I can then do a complete circle, bring this around, and then cast out that way. All right. This is actually an adapted cast from spey casting, where it's actually called a snap tee. So you swing it around, bring this back, and then over, and then you can do your roll cast. And then if I wanted to do another roll cast, I could do another roll cast. Okay. So that's a couple of quick streamer techniques. Remember, walking the streamer across. See, and I can just walk it. So I could put it, if I wanted that streamer to slide in between some rocks, or if I came over here and I wanted it to go in between some trees over there. See, I could cast this way, but it'll always be an arc. So the streamer is coming across there. Now, if I start mending this way, see how the streamer will just drop in right at the butt of that tree, and I can then work it in front. So if I think a fish is sitting under there, I could actually work it and get that fish to come right out. See, and then it would be right out in front. Okay, it's pretty simple techniques, but you should be able to do this without any problem. Okay, but it's another little tool to put in your arsenal. If you just stood there every time and just cast across and then just did your stripping, that works, but then you end up with a whole bunch of line. This way you can work your fly to most any place you want and then let it just drop into place. Okay, so that's my tip for today. I hope this worked out okay. This is my first time with a 2-camera technique. We'll see how it worked. And then maybe, you know, this is a beautiful day. I may just put on an actual hook on this thing and go do a little fishing. So that's it for today.